Mabuhay, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea, a channel about marriage to a woman from the Philippines. I've been married myself to one since 2015. I've been talking about some ways to know when you should stop chatting with this woman you have been chatting with from overseas. And like I'm here in America, she was 9,800 flight miles away in the Philippines, and I never did have to stop talking to her because I didn't notice some of these traits I've been mentioning in prior videos. Today I want to talk about when you're no longer acting like yourself. This comes from a Psychology Today article, and please subscribe here at Love Beyond the Sea and let me know if you've ever known somebody like this, that they just completely changed or changed quite a bit, or maybe people noticed you did too when you were connecting with a woman from the Philippines. So again, the points are from the article and the comments are mine. If you or your family or friends notice that you're acting differently than normal, then it may be that the long distance relationship with the Filipina is to blame, or at least, something about it. If the foreigner is uneasy with this or is not as happy as normal, perhaps more easily irritated, or somehow there's a sense that he might have been better off before he met her, he at least needs to recognize others' concerns. They might notice it before he does. If the foreigner is more upbeat and positive than usual, well, that's a good thing. However, if he is avoiding family and friends, there's really no need for that. You might think that spending a lot of time with her online would be a positive, but in my opinion, it should help him to be more cheerful with his usual companions. I don't know why it should radically change his life. Although I admit it does take some good amount of effort to talk every day. I would hope every day. And this has happened to me, and I never liked it when people got involved with somebody and then I don't hear from them anymore. Now, if the foreigner seems irritated and grouchy, it might mean that he's trying to force the relationship to work instead of it happening naturally. He should be pleasant, really. If he is distracted, then he might be wrestling with some doubts of the relationship. Maybe he's, in a very much age gap relationship, and he is has some shame about it. I don't know. He doesn't have to, really. I'm much older than my wife and hasn't really caused any problems with us. So, again, he should be pleasant. Let's say he's angry, then it's possible he just expects too much from the Filipina. Maybe he's heard it's just really easy and automatic to get along, but it isn't. So what I'm going to say next is, to wrap this up, kind of fits with the first one, which was about discussion has become impossible. I've talked about these points in the article, changing the words a bit to focus on a foreigner and Filipina angle. I'm done with that. Now my concern before I am finished is about giving money to the Filipina's family or allowing her to work in your country when married so she can support her family back home. This very much needs to be talked about before getting married. And if it is causing the discussion to become impossible, well, that's a big red flag for your relationship, because there's something that most people will tell you you're better off opening up about before you get married. And I know it's a sensitive topic for both the foreigner and the Filipina. It's going to come up. If it doesn't on her part, I would bring it up myself. How much, if we get married, how much am I going to have to support your family? You pretty much should assume you will have to help some, not everybody. So this topic of money back home drives a wedge between the foreigner and the Filipina. What they have going on needs to be suspended or terminated before they get married. They have to both feel at peace about whatever they decide. I had a general idea when I married my Filipino wife back in 2015 that it is normal and expected for a foreign husband to help his family And I think when you marry, her family becomes your family. And I didn't realize that my wife would, help me as much as she has and her family as much as she has. But I've been fine with that. We're doing all right. We don't have any children. And well, none of our own, but I don't understand how, I also didn't understand how much I would grow to love her family. My wife's family in the Philippines is very, very important to her, and therefore is important to me as well. I have insisted my wife let me help, whether it was for a need or not. I enjoy giving money to them or anything else I can do. If the foreigner has not been to the Philippines, it would be a good idea for him to do that. He might not recognize how poor parts of the country are and how difficult it is to have enough to feel comfortable, basic necessities. Certainly was an eye-opener for me. I've been there 4 times, actually maybe it's 5, and I know exactly how and why we're helping the family. I know where it's going. This is something we talk about. The higher the dollar amount, you should definitely be talking about those items. And this should give him a reason to reconsider if he has been resistant to approve of family help. If he goes there, he's going to see that, they probably need help. Now, if he insists still that he won't help and, doesn't want her to help her own family, well, I'd say that's his decision. And, he is the husband after all and should be followed by his wife. But he should also realize how unhappy and unsatisfied she would be in this situation. So for all practical purposes, he would need to be happy with an unhappy wife or allow her to help, which would make her happy and more likely to follow his lead in other ways. Difficult decision, but it's up to him. Now, I believe they both need to be committed to working everything out, and that will include making personal sacrifices and accepting things about each other and maybe the dynamics of the relationship that you might want to change but aren't going to be able to do so or shouldn't try to force to change. I love talking about these relationships. I don't know everything, but I've been married for 9.5 years. I've certainly tried to learn from other foreigner and Filipinas, and I've been studying marriage and relationships for a long time. So I'm happy to share what I can here so that if you look for a woman from the Philippines, you have a better chance to have success. So that's the end of this when to not talk to a Filipina video. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment here if you can relate, and I am very glad that I didn't have to stop chatting with my love beyond the sea.